Hey everybody. Today we're going to have a conversation with the team behind Over in the Woodland, a mythological counting journey. Before we do that, let's take a quick peek inside the book. Here's some phoenixes, some trolls, and yes, even some mermaids. All of these illustrations are designed to enhance your children's vocabulary and to teach them how to count. And we're going to get to all that. But first, let's roll that opening montage. Hi everybody, Susana, Nicole, Char.
Hello.
How are you guys
Hi.
today? I have a whole team for Over in the Woodland, a mythical counting journey, joining me today from Italy. Char, Nicole, where are you guys?
Utah.
No street addresses, please, because I know you have some serious fans and they will all show up at your doorstep. Okay? Listen, I have to be very honest with you up front. When my director of education, who has been teaching kindergarten for almost 30 years, got her hands on this book, we've known each other since the second grade, which is why she's my director of education. She has a master's in special ed. She has a special concentration in autism. This woman knows her stuff, right? Aside from being in the classroom for almost 30 years. She picked up the phone and she called me and she said, "Where did you find this book?" And I said, "Well, we have our contacts in the publishing industry, and you know that we're always looking for books that we want to get out there into people's hands." So I said, "What's special about it?" Because I assigned it to her to look at because I thought it was a book that we could use in the classrooms, right? And she said, "Well," and she was the one that wrote the review. She said, "You know how most counting books are books that count little buttons or little crayons or little things like that and leave it at that?" I said, "Yeah. I've used them when I cover in kindergarten or I cover in pre-K or even in first grade." She said, "This book is nothing like that. This book actually tells you a story. And in addition to the counting, this book gives you a huge vocabulary that you can actually use with children, and it's beautiful. On top of everything, it's a beautiful book. Everybody needs to use this book." And I said, "Well, Miss Isa, we're not in the business of selling books. We have to just tell people what we think about them." And she goes, "Oh, I'm going to tell people what I think about them. But I know that you're starting an interview series, so you've got to get these women on the YouTube channel, and you've got to tell them from me that they have to do more books." So I wanted to lead with that because Miss Isa wants you to do more books, and now I'm going to tell you, you better not do books that suck, okay? They have to be really good books.
We'll try.
Okay.
Because she has set the bar this high for you, okay?
Wow. Okay.
All right. Now, before we start the questions, because there are going to be a whole lot of questions, we have a game that we play on Mr. Alex's bookshelf. And I know that your publicist did not warn you about this, and we haven't posted any interviews online yet, so nobody knows what the game is. And the game, I can see Susana looking at Lorenza going, "He's talking about a game. Nobody warned me about a game." Yeah, it's okay, Susana. It's okay. I'll pull you through this game. The game is called Clear the Shelf.
Sorry, I'm in panic.
No. No need to panic. No need to panic. It's an easy game. It's an easy game. But you'll see what I'm going to do with it later. The game is called Clear the Shelf, where I ask you a bunch of random questions, just random questions that don't have anything to do with anything. and you're going to tell me the first thing that pops into your head. Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
And I'm going to start with Char because we had to wait for her the longest. Okay. Even though you were on time. Everybody was early, so you were late.
Okay.
Okay? All right.
Yeah.
Char, most favorite city?
Oh my gosh, San Diego.
Interesting. That was not the correct answer.
So there are correct answers.
Of course, they're correct answers. I'm in charge. I mean, please, you know? I decided your book was a good book. Don't you think there are correct answers?
Oh, yes.
Susana, your favorite breed of dog? Favorite type of dog?
Dog? Bulldog.
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 Okay.
I love the face.
The squish face. Okay.
Yes, it's really funny. I love it.
Do you like to illustrate dogs?
Ti piace disegnare cani?
Yes. Monsters look like dogs.
Well, we're gonna
A
talk
little
about
different.
your dragon illustration. I had never seen dragons like that, but we're gonna talk about that in a minute. I thought that was actually very interesting the way you illustrated the dragons, which I purposely didn't pick because I want people to buy the book so they see them. Okay. Nicole, biggest unfulfilled wish?
Oh, wow. To sing better.
So singing better means that you sing, right?
Well, yeah, I love singing, but I don't have any vocal training.
Well, you don't need vocal training to sing. Trust me, I'm a voice minor. So what is your favorite type of music to sing?
Probably, oh, that's really hard.
Yes,
Right
it
now,
is.
I love singing lots of different Broadway songs, the ones I grew
A
up
girl
on.
after my own heart. All right, what's your favorite Broadway show right now?
Oh gosh, well, right now, Hamilton. That's my kids have it on repeat.
So are you going to do Burn for me, or are you going to do Satisfied?
No.
I'll toast to the groom.
Sorry, I can't.
No, you can't. That's like the hardest song in the show. Come on. No, I'm teasing.
It is.
Not
It's
going to make you do it.
incredible.
And besides, if we do more of it, I'll have to pay rights, right? So there's no way. Susana, you ready?
No.
Your second favorite superhero?
Superhero.
Second
Mhm.
favorite.
Hulk.
The Hulk. You like the big boys, huh?
My pronounce is correct.
Yeah,
Okay.
Who's your favorite superhero?
The favorite, Spider-Man. I like it.
That's
But,
my kid's
I'm,
favorite.
Il preferito dei figli.
Ah, okay,
Mio
wow.
bambino favorito.
Sì, wow. Lo mismo.
But do you like Peter Parker or do you like Miles Morales?
Peter
or both?
Parker. I like.
See, in this house, we like
love.
Miles Morales. In this
Mhm.
house, we like Miles Morales. You know, what can
No,
I say?
don't like.
You don't like Miles Morales?
No, yes, I like. Alex
Okay.
Morales è l'alter ego di...
So, Char,
Yes.
you have been arrested. You
Ooh.
call your friends, and what's the first thing they think you're in prison for?
Oh my goodness. They probably would laugh and tell me they know I'm lying.
You know, I'm sorry. I'm going to ask you the question again. And you're going to have to answer without a deflection.
Okay, for real, what would they think I'd be in prison for? Speeding? But you don't go to prison for that.
That's a good answer, right? Right. Aren't there like really long roads in Utah where you can pick up a little bit of speed?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Mostly,
I'm not.
mostly it'd be between on I-15 between Utah and California, because that's the long desert stretch where you get really bored.
And You've never done that. So we just want to make
Never.
clear that
No,
that has never,
It could happen, but it
that
hasn't.
has, it could happen, but it's never happened. So, Nicole, if you were a spice, what spice would you be? And now Char is thinking, why didn't I get that one?
Cinnamon.
That's the second cinnamon I've gotten this week. Why cinnamon?
Probably because it's one we have and use almost daily. I don't know. And it's the one that popped into my head.
But that's a good question. That's a good question. I mean, that's a good answer. That's a really good answer, right? Cinnamon is a great little topping flavor. It adds a very distinct note to whatever it is that you're using it for. Do you use it for desserts primarily, or do you use it to cook with?
Both, but my kids also love it on applesauce.
Do you make your own applesauce?
No.
See,
I wish I did. Yeah.
Send me a note. Do you own a crock pot?
Mm-hmm.
Send me a note and I'll send you a recipe for a really easy crock pot applesauce recipe where you basically just cut up the apples and leave them there all day. And you have the best applesauce you'll ever taste.
Okay, I'm gonna try it.
And it really is that easy. So just send me a note. And viewers, if you're interested in the recipe, just drop me a note in the comment section, and I too will send you that recipe for crockpot applesauce. It's actually very easy. All right, last question goes to Susanna. Okay, Susanna, you ready? If you could take a book that was already illustrated and do the illustrations in your style, a picture book that's already been illustrated, and do the illustrations in your own style, which book would it be?
In my style,
and this has nothing to do with the illustrations that are already.
I don't know.
No, that's not a good answer. Sorry. So it could be a book that you like.
Okay.
No, it doesn't mean that. I want to be clear. It's not a book that you don't like. It could be a book that you love, that you want to do the illustrations for. It's just a book that's already done.
I love, come si dice cappuccetto rosso?
Cappuccetto?
Yeah. No, Red.
Little Red Riding Hood.
Yes.
That's
Or
what I thought you
Pinocchio.
said.
Pinocchio.
Pinocchio?
Yes, or I love the movie of Disney movie. Me gustaría muchísimo dibujar.
So Disney, are you listening,
yeah.
right? Disney, are you listening?
Okay.
So Nicole, Char, did you know that Mr. Alex speaks Italian and Spanish and English? Right? It's right in there with you. All right, so obviously this is the right guy for the interview. All right, you guys ready for some serious questions now? Is the ice sufficiently broken?
Yep.
Sounds good.
Okay, so we talked a little bit about this book already, right, during the setup of the interview. I want to know, Nicole and Char, whose idea was it for this book?
Well, we were sitting together with all of our kids.
Yeah, I know. You're going to give me this twin mystery. Oh, we had it at the same time. I asked you a very specific question. I want to know whose idea it was. Because you're sisters, so you have had this fight off camera. I now want you to have it on camera.
The thing is it happened really organically, like in a conversation. So
Yeah.
It's not like we can't pinpoint that it was your idea. It was kind of, we were just discussing over in the woodland, over in the Meadow, which is one of our favorite childhood books, and just kind of wishing, like, how cool would it be if we could do this with these mythical creatures that we love. And so
we did.
Yeah.
But it was also so many years ago. When was it? I think we decided it was like 2013.
I think it was 2013.
So it was back when you were both about 12 years old, right?
Oh, yeah.
The correct response to that is thank you.
And thank you. So I don't feel like I can even exactly remember who said it first. Can you, Nicole?
I really can't. We each I had 4 kids. She had 3 kids at the time.
2.
And, you know, it's kind of chaotic with kids around. We had 7 kids between us who were from infant to, at the time, probably 7. So it was just like natural conversation.
Yeah.
We talk about a lot of things together.
So why a counting book?
Well, over in the Meadow, the traditional rhyme is a counting book, and we wanted to follow the same format because it counts animal babies and their moms that are in the meadow. So turtles and fish and birds, and so we wanted to follow the same format and do a counting book.
Right, except this book doesn't just count moms.
That was really important to us.
Well, I have to tell
Yes.
you that as a dad in a 2-dad family, that was very important to me. The minute I turned the page and I saw, wow, there's actually father representation here.
Mm-hmm.
I was very happily surprised because it's very easy to find a picture book that has a very strong maternal narrative, which I applaud. I think strong maternal narratives are a good thing. I applaud them. We should have a lot of strong maternal narratives. Having a strong paternal narrative is a rare thing.
Yes.
So finding books that have both are really good things. So the second I saw that, I'm like, this is yet another reason to like this book, because you see moms and you see dads. And that is a way that the book distinguishes itself from what's out there in the market. Why is that important to you, to have that representation out there?
Well, so many reasons. First, my husband was the same way. When we had our first little girl, he would say, why are there so many mom books and there's no dad books?
And how old is your little girl now?
She's
that little girl?
Almost 13.
Right, and it hasn't changed.
Yeah.
It hasn't changed.
There have been some really good dad ones come out, but they're hard to find.
And actually, Familius, your publisher, is pretty good about that. They have a book out. Which
I can
we've
picture the
reviewed.
cover.
Right, the one with the big
Yeah.
dad, right, and the little baby. I think it's called Just for Me.
Mhm.
If I remember correctly, that was my introduction to Familius as a publisher, which I bought the book because it featured a strong father narrative. That book is an amazing book, and I'm tearing up by the end of it going, wow, there's a book out there that's just for us. Very important, beautifully illustrated, beautiful story, very simple. So, all right, your husband felt the same thing. Why else?
Because there's so many families that have just dads, or they might have just moms, or a single dad, or 2 dads. There's so many different types of families, and
right, and it's not just about 2-dad families, right? It's about single parent families.
Yeah.
It's about all the different types of families, right? Because there are lots of children out there that are being raised by single parents.
Mm-hmm.
And if those children can't identify with the story, it already puts those children at a disadvantage. And one of the things I particularly love about the book is that on every page, the child can, to one degree or another, identify with the caretaker. So how did you pick the different mythical creatures? And Nicole, I want you to answer this one, that were selected for the book.
Well, we sat down and had a brainstorm and just wrote down a ton of different mythical creatures. I mean, there's so many to choose from, so it was hard to narrow it down. But there were some that we said, okay, we absolutely want this one in the book.
A unicorn.
A unicorn, a mermaid, a dragon, centaur, and then the rest, we just kind of looked at the list
Centaur.
And which ones. We love the centaur page. Susanna did so amazing.
We're going to talk to Susanna in a few minutes, because what she does with lighting in this book is one of the more exceptional things that I've seen ever. And you don't see that in children's books. You just don't. I mean, you see it in gallery pieces, you don't see it in children's books. So I'm like looking at this going, there are 3 light sources in this picture, and they're all emanating their own individual radiance. And this is kind of freaky because this book is $19. You know, it's like, right? It's just spectacular. Yes, Susanna, I noticed all of that. So your work did not go in vain. It's pretty spectacular. And the thing is, you don't just have a unicorn, right? Because we all see unicorns. So the unicorn has to be pretty spectacular in the rendering. It can't just be an ordinary unicorn. It has to like literally pop off the page. Otherwise, it's just a unicorn. Otherwise, it's My Little Pony. Nothing wrong with My Little Pony. Actually, I think it's a cute show. But this is different, right? So you sat down, you did a list. How did you winnow them down?
I think also in the research, just which ones would be fun to have in the story. One of the things that we liked about Trolls is that there's so much information that we had to kind of pare down what's the information we want to share, because so we tried to pick what we enjoyed and what we thought children would enjoy, and what kind of would be able to be for all children, not just specifically girls or boys, but we wanted things that all children would appreciate. And then, with the Trolls, what I was saying was that one of the little fun facts about mythical creatures was that they live like a mother with sons or a father with daughters. And we're like, that's kind of a cool little snippet that we had never read about them before. So just if there was something that really drew us from our research, but we pared it down pretty quickly. Do you remember, Char? I think that was not a hard part of writing at all, because there were some that just like popped out and, we definitely want that, like a cyclops. We thought those would be really cool.
Well, all of them. We did that probably in an afternoon after we did all of our research. We just sat down and said, okay, what do we for sure want?
So is mythology something that you're both kind of drawn to? Are you big Buffy fans? Are you old enough to be Buffy fans at all?
We are old enough, but actually I never watched it.
Oh, you have to go back. It is the silliest, most, weird, hysterical, guilty pleasure there is on the planet.
I don't know how we missed it, because it was definitely the rage, and I don't know. I
don't even think I've seen one episode.
I think going back as an adult, you'll just laugh more. Because it's like Riverdale. I watch Riverdale because when I substitute in schools, all the kids are watching Riverdale, so you have to have something to like pay attention to while the kids, to talk to them about. And they take it so seriously, and I just watch and crack up because it's funny. I mean, it's really funny. Just kind of roll your eyes back at these 30-year-olds playing teenagers, but that's another story all in of itself. The rhymes are really good, and a rhyming book is actually a really hard sell. People don't realize how hard it is to sell a rhyming book, because publishers kind of go, oh, your book rhymes. I'm going to put it over here in this pile. Thank you. Thank you very much. So in order for a rhyming book to sell, it actually has to be pretty exceptional quality. And your rhymes are very good for 2 reasons. They incorporate an action word in it, and that action word happens to be related to the action of the mythical creature, and thereby increasing the vocabulary that you would present at that level. So you're presenting a very strong pedagogical motivation for the book. And the cadence to the rhyme is kept throughout the book, which is incredibly hard when you're maintaining a meter. Yeah, he noticed.
Thank you for noticing.
And it's a solid rhyme. That's hard work. Who was primarily responsible for the writing? And, or did you use your twin powers to complete the sentences. You know, I believe that writing can be a team effort, so I'm willing to take that second answer.
Did you want to
Wanna
answer
start?
this, Char?
Sure. It was, I would say, not to be silly about it, but it was a pretty magical experience because we really worked well together and we sat down. Some of them just came, some of the rhymes just came really quickly and they didn't change a ton. Like I can think of maybe, I feel like the mermaid one didn't change a whole bunch from the beginning. But we divided them up. Once we decided on the 10, we divided them up into 5. Kind of we each took our favorites and then we did more research and just found out like all the different, the Greek, the Roman, the Norse, just all different, Chinese, anything that was out there about that creature. We tried to read it all to see what we wanted to include and what action we could have each of them do. And then
Right, isn't it amazing to you how societies that have developed differently basically all have the same mythology?
yes.
Yeah, it's pretty
Yes,
fascinating.
they're very similar. I mean, there's definitely differences, but then there's so many similarities too.
So you kind of sit there and wonder what happened, right? Something happened. Somewhere along the way, something happened of this great unifying core of humanity, right? Because they're all separate and they're all distinct and they were all isolated from one another, yet they all have the same mythology.
Very similar, yeah.
They all have the same sorts of creatures. So I'm gonna throw, you ready, Susanna? I am going to throw an image up, and I think we're gonna start with the trolls because to me that was the most playful of all of them, and it happens to be my favorite. Do you guys see it?
Yes.
Yep.
So I normally hate stopping an interview before it's over, but I knew you'd want to break this up into 2 parts, and I thought I would tease you by leaving the illustrations until the second part. So you're gonna have to come back. By the way, there's a book giveaway, and all the instructions for the book giveaway are down in the description box. Click on the link in the description box, and you can figure out what to do. Don't forget to hit subscribe and like. That's the only way that you and I can stay in contact. See you next time.